11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Hey, and welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live each weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. Got Gary joining us from Kansas this evening. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for joining. This is a panel discussion. We invite people from gun channels, people we know in the 2A community out there and doing media stuff, and advocates and researchers and authors and that kind of thing. We invite anybody who's interested to join in a discussion about firearms each evening, and we broadcast it live on gunchannels.com, a community we built. It's going on 6 years old now. It's a bunch of people that think that it's cool to either create content and share what they're interested in, especially stuff focused on the Second Amendment or firearms, and then of course people that like to enjoy that kind of real grassroots, honest content. So we have a community there. We simulcast the show over there, and when it's all done, we'll put the shows over on gunstreamer.com, very pro 2A gun-friendly video hosting platform. So yesterday, or the other day, I guess, we had a tactical quiz, one of the things we do during this show, and the winner of that quiz not only got to pick a patch off of our patch panel, but they also were kind of playing for one of our Patreon supporters. So they were kind of playing for another person at home, and that Patreon supporter got a bunch of loot, and we wanted to put together a video to show the rest of our Patreon supporters our thanks, and to let people know some of the stuff that we've found and experienced on the Gun Show Loophole Tour. So we're going to wait here to start the discussion tonight and start the show off with this video, and we've sent links out to a lot of people out there, and those kind of trickle in while we're watching this video. We'll watch a few minutes of it and then get a discussion going about guns. Today is Wednesday, so normally we think about entertainment and we do our good idea, bad ideas. So if you've got ideas that we can debate or discuss on the good idea, bad idea segment, feel free to leave them in the comments out there. Everything we do online is an effort in new media. So we don't encourage anyone to just watch our stuff. There's plenty of people you can go watch on the internet. We want you to use the internet when you are hanging out in our conversations and be part of the conversation. So the way you do that is by using the keyboards over there, and give us some ideas for good idea, bad idea later. And with no further ado, here's the stuff that we sent out to our Patreon supporter.
Right. Recently added a new addition to our tactical pop quiz that we do on Wednesdays during the Daily Gun Show. And we added an extra element. Now when someone wins the tactical pop quiz, they pick someone randomly, I guess, from our Patreons, the people that help financially support our projects. And we send our Patreons a loot pack or a loot kit. I don't know what we're calling it. So we're going to take a bubble wrap envelope. So this will hold anything we can put into it. And we're going to start there. So we have insurance and tracking. And we're going to start adding some stuff that we've collected along the way over the last years on the Gun Show Loophole Tour. And this is our way of saying thanks to our Patreons and adding an extra element to our tactical quiz. So this one's going out to Raw Dog, who's been a Patreon supporter for 11 months. We really appreciate that. And was picked randomly by the winner of the Tactical Pop Quiz on the Daily Gun Show the other day. So we're going to start out with this, the Big Gun Show Journal. This is pretty cool. This is a journal of all the different gun shows that happened throughout the years. I just discovered this, I think my last time I went to the Tulsa Gun Show. Yes, this is from April 18. So I grabbed a bunch of these. We're sending that one out to you. We've got a 2017 issue of the Wanamaker guide and a 2018. Hopefully we'll be adding another one to the library this year. We've got the schedule from the 33rd annual Gun Rights Policy Conference that was last year's, held in Chicago. On the way up there, we stopped in Las Vegas, New Mexico, like we do whenever we can find an excuse. And this is a little guide that comes from the city. They filmed actually quite a few movies there besides Red Dawn. So this is a large format, kind of a magazine from the city. We've got the guide from, this is last year's SHOT Show. So this is something that comes in the mail to help get you prepped for the show. And it's a way that we can send something out to let people who might not get this stuff in the mail experience the show. In addition to that, this is a magazine, again, to kind of give you some idea of what the SHOT Show is like. We'll send that out to you. This is interesting. This was a handout at one of the gun shops in California. So this is actually going to, well, I guess I shouldn't tell you where it's going, but you'll be able to see what it's like to see a ad from a gun shop in California. And then last, we have some information about freedom and firearms. That's a brochure from the Gun Rights Policy Conference. And next, I'll sneak in this, which is a pack of stickers that I just kind of accumulated a lot of stickers over the years and divided them up. So we got here a Remington Military and Police, a Granite Gear, a couple of Yamahas. There's a little Canik one fell down, a Camelback Glock. This one is, I think, from, who's that from? That's of a military unit patch, I guess. A couple of Fragile patches, UTG, Smith & Wesson, a couple of DPMS got stuck together there, so you'll get a couple of them, a CMMG, FN, ammo.com, a Bushmaster, and a Night Force, just a bunch of random stickers to plaster all over a toolbox or a gun case or something. We've got a brochure from the Gun Owners of America. I probably picked that up at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. On the way up there, we'd like to stop at the NRA's Whittingham Center, which is just south of, well, it's actually just north of Albuquerque, I guess, south of Dragonman's. Here's another brochure from Las Vegas, New Mexico, and this is more specifically about the movies that were filmed there and the most important movie ever. Next, we've got a brochure from the Clark County Shooting Range, just north of the city of Las Vegas, in the area there, and very cool public shooting range. Also in Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Shooting Center, just a brochure to kind of see, stayed at a hotel or something. This is the kind of thing you'd see to get an idea of the machine gun shoot there. We've got something from Buffalo Bill Center of the West, and one of the coolest places in Cody, Wyoming, the Cody Firearms Experience. This is a public range. You can go and shoot. They've got this, they have a picture of the shooting gallery. They've got a bunch of history. Actually, at this point, now that the museum is shut down for remodeling, this is probably a more interesting history of guns than you'll get at the big museum there. And then you've got ability to shoot there at real ranges. And then there you go, a shooting gallery, which is like light, like little laser beams. So there's no projectiles or anything. Real safe for kids. And it's just in front of the east gate of the Yellowstone, which, from what I hear, has like 2.5 to 3 million visitors each year. Every one of them that goes past sees this big sign, this big van outside that says shoot guns, big billboard outside that says shoot guns. Went in there, really cool people. So you're going to get a patch from there too once we get to the patch portion of this giveaway. Really cool place in Cody, Wyoming. You got Bill's Gun Shop, a gun shop in a couple of different states throughout Minnesota, Wisconsin, and North Dakota. I stopped at a shop in Wisconsin and in North Dakota, and real cool people there. This is a thing from winter of 2018 from the Second Amendment Foundation. It's one of the gun shops in Illinois. A really cool flyer. I think that's neat. An inexpensive little flyer to let people know or remind people to check them out on social media. And fairly colorful, using a familiar icon, but getting gun shops out on the web. Ideally, they'd put gun channels on there. If Get Guns is watching this, it'd be great if you put gun channels on there, because we're a community that actually cares about guns, and we're not going anywhere. We got Brownells retail stores. I was driving up to that Gun Rights Policy Conference. Stopped by the Brownells actual retail location. Interesting. Right before that, though, I stopped at this Centennial Gun Club, a very nice gun club, shooting range, and gun shop in Denver. I'd say this is one of the nicest gun shops I've been to in the country, and I've been to quite a few nice ones. It's a really cool shop. Worth checking out if you're ever in Denver, just for the experience. Then you've got, what is this? Just another brochure from Las Vegas, New Mexico. So can't get enough of the Red Dawn shooting locations. And then last, something from California. If you ever get to LA, the Autry Museum is a must visit. There's a lot of cool gun stuff there, interesting art and Western history, but really cool guns there. Next, we've got the map from this year's SHOT Show. It's a really big map to give you, again, some scale of the show. We'll get into some stickers that are more from the tour than just random stickers. So we've got one from the Illinois State Rifle and Pistol Association. We picked that up at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. They were one of the organized or the host groups for the event last year. This is Tread Lightly, a really cool organization we met up with at SAR Show a couple of years back, and they're a public organization instead of a government organization, trying to do awareness and education for people who use the outdoors together. So hunters, horseback riders, mountain bikers, hikers, shooters, working together without government interference to work together to maintain our private lands. I think that's a worthy effort, and we'll try to do more on this in the future. We've got the gun store, my favorite places in Vegas. Been there maybe the longest or the second longest as far as a rental range. And ever since I've been going to Vegas, which is since probably the 80s or 90s, I've been checking out the gun store. It's been great to see it evolve as a shop and as a range and as an ambassador to guns to not just people in the United States, but imagine how many people the gun store has been an ambassador for the Second Amendment and for guns, for freedom and everything that represents. So I think that's a cool shop. They have a great Instagram page. Definitely worth checking them out. We got the Buffalo Bill Museum of the West. Not every gun thing is a winner, right? Now we got Wind River Outdoor Company, a really cool gun shop and outfitter in Lander, Wyoming, a place that's significant to me. I used to spend some time out there when I was younger. A sticker from there, which looks like the periodic table, but it's actually tougher than shitism. So, or tougher than shittium. And then it has the Wyoming abbreviation. People in Wyoming will understand that. We've got Planet Fitness. Might seem funny, but Planet Fitness is how I'm able to afford to do the Gun Show Loophole Tour with the funding of people on Patreon. I use the showers there and the parking lot sometimes. Potentially, I could use their internet too. So it's a great resource for the kind of trip I'm doing, which is no frills and trying to save money as much as possible. So they give you free stickers when you are a member. So I'm just passing some of those along. Capital Armory, a great gun shop in Austin, Texas. Worth checking out their Instagram if you like suppressors. You're going to dig their Instagram. BMC Tactical, gun shop and a manufacturer of cool morale patches out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. You'll see more from them in the giveaway here. Got Gallison's Guns out of Salt Lake City, another awesome gun shop, and they do their stickers in a pair like that for dueling. Really neat. Easy Guns, another shop that's cool here in Arizona. Got the Shoot Smart range, and this one's actually in the one I visited is in Fort Worth, Texas, and I visited that one a couple of times now. And then the range at Austin, say again on par with the Centennial Gun Club as some of the nicest ranges I've seen in the country so far. Real treat to just experience it. Can't imagine if you lived there how cool it would be to be able to shoot there regularly. Next, let's move on to the patches. So all this stuff should still fit in this envelope, but I guess if we have to, we'll expand a little bit because this stuff will start to get a little bulkier. We got a SIG patch, probably came from SHOT Show. Little Glock hat pin or something came from SHOT Show. It's an IWI. I think this is a zipper pull, where you could put that on like a range bag or something. Make the zipper a little bit easier to get to. And you could always hold it upside down, and it's like IMI back in the day. Then you got ticks, the tick magnet, demerit patch, and the flashlight friend demerit wear patch. So these are some patches that are meant to kind of do humorous takes on merit badges. Back when the original owner of that company and I were still doing the patch game, or still working our way up the patch game, we exchanged a bunch of patches and stuff. So
that's 11 minutes of it over there, and then we get into the stuff. There's a bunch more patches from the various places we visited on the Gun Show Loophole Tour that have patches. A couple of things that we bought along the way. I didn't mention in the video that USB hub is from Marengo Guns in Illinois, so we got that just before the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Anyway, all this stuff went out to Raw Dog, who's been Patreon for 11 months, so that's awesome. We've had Patreons for longer than that, and some that are newer than that. But one of the elements we're adding to our tactical quiz is that the people that win the tactical quiz here on the show are also going to play for our Patreons, and that's another way we can say thanks to our Patreons for making all this possible. But that gave us time for people to show up. I didn't send out the link to the show until just before it started, so I figured that gave us a good kind of buffer there to get people, chance to reply to the email. So we have Bob jumping in from Canada. Long time no see. Thanks for jumping in, Bob.
Hey, glad to be here. Long time no see.
How's it going?
Still above ground.
That's good. Good attitude. And then we got John Z jumping in from New York. Thanks for joining.
Howdy. Thanks for the invite. Glad to be here.
So again, we got people watching the show. It says we got 29 people watching. 19 of them chose to be part of the show by thumbing it up. So thanks for that. And we're asking for good idea, bad idea topics. Bob, you got any idea what the first good idea, bad idea was? What our first topic was?
Oh, man. What was it?
With the monkey one?
No, I don't think so. That one that was 10 or 15 shows in. I think the first one was something stupid like revolvers versus automatics or something like that.
Oh, okay. If anybody wants to try to find the first one, it's probably on the gun websites. We started the show over there and then moved it over to its own channel at some point. I think 100 shows in or something. But I don't remember when we started doing good idea, bad idea. So we've been doing this show for 700 and whatever, 60 something episodes now. I guess 768. We missed 767 yesterday. But at least we missed talking about the airplane yesterday. But we've been doing the show for quite a few episodes. I guess that's quite a few years now. And the show's format has changed. The hosts and the panel has changed, and everything's changed. I mean, it's very organic. So I don't remember when we started doing it. And I don't know, we did it was a pretty strong segment of the show there for quite a while, though. I mean, good chunk of that 700 episodes. There's a good idea, bad idea every Wednesday.
Well, it really got big with the whole monkey versus bear, knife versus 22. I mean, yeah, that was. I still say I'm right.
So I'm looking for what we got out there as far as guy is saying bore limits. So good idea or bad idea? That's going to be a no-brainer, but let's run it through the panel. Limits on diameter of bore. Good idea or bad idea?
Bad idea.
Gary?
Well, if I can find my mute button. Bad idea.
John?
You said limits on the bore diameter?
Correct.
I would say good idea depending on the size of the ammunition you're using. There should be certain limits on some things.
No, I think they're talking. I think they're asking, like, should there be a limit on the size of the bore size of your rifle? Do you want to have a big bore, or
Yeah, like
that's the way they should have asked it then. If they're asking it the correct way you're saying it, obviously there should be no limits.
Right. I mean, other than ballistically, right? There's a limit.
You're talking physical limitation that at some point it doesn't make sense because it's not worth having the rifle. It weighs too much or something.
Correct.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. And we're all agreeing on that.
Naval guns are called rifles, so a 16-inch cannon is actually a rifle.
Hey, don't get me wrong. If I could, I would have one on my back when I go outside. Come on.
Oh, a minigun that pops up over your shoulder? I want one of those.
Heck yeah.
When we was up at the 2A rally in Phoenix this last time, it was over near the Capitol. The last couple of times we've gone, the last 3 times we've gone, we stayed over where I guess the Museum of Mining or something is. So it's like a block away. And we can see the Capitol, so I never really put much thought to it because you can see the grassy area there in front of the Capitol. But this time it was a smaller event, and I was able to park right next to the event, which is in this whole grassy area. So the parking lot is the park that the parking lot is in has a couple of the things Bob's talking about. So I guess they'd be called rifled barrels, right? The giant cannons, or I call them cannons, off of World War II So they have the Missouri, I know for certain, and I don't know. The other one, there's no way it's the gun off the Arizona.
I don't know. I thought it went upside down, so those would be buried in the mud, I would think.
Well, even if it, I don't know if it went down upside down or not, but even if it didn't, I don't think they'd go down and salvage the barrel and stick it in our Capitol. So I think it's the guns. I think that, but I think the thing said these are the guns off the Missouri, and that were the same kind as the Arizona or something like that. But anyway, we got two big giant cannons there, and they're massive. They're as big as any semi truck with the tractor and the cab or and the trailer.
They removed the guns on the USS Arizona and put those on merchant ships, if I remember.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Back in the war, you mean? Back in the day?
Back during the war. During the war, yeah.
Then if that's the case, we might have the gun from the Arizona. I guess I could look it up on the internet.
It's probably one. I've been there before. It's probably one. Just like it. Same one they had on them.
Any guns they removed from a battleship to put on a merchant ship, that would have been some of the secondaries at the most. You would have took a 6-inch off, and battleships. So it was like their main guns were 12 to 15 or 16. Secondaries were 6 to 8. Although 8 was pretty big for secondaries, but 6 to 4. 3-inch. Those ones they would put on merchant ships. They put 3-inch and 4-inch guns on merchant ships.
That'll poke a hole in you.
Oh yeah.
Because if I remember, they salvaged everything they could off of the ship after it sunk, and I think they reused the gun turrets as well.
Yeah, I think right. According to the internet, it says the original one of the bells on the Arizona is over the University of Arizona here in Tucson. It says a gun, the mast, and an anchor, and the anchor from the Arizona are in that park I'm talking about, just east of the Arizona State Capitol. So it sounds like what Night Strike said, and then once they were done, they put them in place of honor.
Those main guns, though, are multi-level guns. And we mean that as different levels of the ship. It's just not like it's hard-mounted to the deck. It goes down several stories.
Well, we're talking just the barrel. Like their barrel is laying there on the concrete.
Oh, just the barrel. Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to find a picture of it here.
No, I mean the 16-inch barrels. Possibly, they may have salvaged them in order to use them on some of the other battleships, or as spares.
Parts.
They actually did have that, yeah. But they would have salvaged a lot of the smaller guns, like the 3-inch, the 4-inch, the 6-inch, any of the 50s, anything like that. They would have reused because they needed to.
Now, could you buy one of those today with a destructive device license?
A 16-inch barrel? Probably. I mean, in the 50s and 60s, we had a guy in Canada bought a couple of them, welded them together, and tried to shoot shit into space. No shit. That's Barrel Bull. Yeah, eventually the Israelis killed him because he was building guns for the Iraqis, making a super gun for them.
The problem with using one of those guns now is there's really nowhere, unless you own an entire continent, to use them.
No, they had 60-mile range. There's people who own more than 60 miles.
Yeah, well, there's also the fact that you need to use TNT to ignite the ammunition.
Well, but it still burns black powder.
I'm just saying it's funny because it would be funny if it was a $5 tax stamp to buy that. That's all.
It would be absolutely hilarious. You can actually have cannons. You use black powder in them instead of cordite. Right, they still work.
Right, but don't you have to have it registered as a destructive device or something?
Right. That goes with the ammunition. Is the issue is you fire a round, you just fired an NFA item, so it's like you're just throwing it down the toilet left and right.
What if it's just a lead projectile? It's not like an actual explosive projectile like they use.
Because of its size, it's still a destructive device.
Well,
Yeah,
Any of those fall under any other?
Hold on. I've been looking
looks
for
around.
pictures of this. Hold on, I've been looking for pictures of this gun. If you have a cannon and you shoot non-ordnance out of it, it is not necessary to register chalk, pyrotechnics, and certain things. Practice dummy rounds and stuff. It's if there's ordnance, it needs to be.
bowling ball. Yeah,
Said
a
lead.
bowling ball.
Lead would be ordnance, definitely.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you're throwing out of there. But there's a whole group of people that buy large,
Yeah.
well, what are destructive devices and then shoot, again, pyrotechnics or chalk or marking rounds and have a lot of fun shooting that stuff.
That sounds like fun.
So
Definitely.
here's the Arizona's gun at the Arizona Capitol.
Yeah.
My dog sniffed it. She sniffed it right around here, this area right here.
You probably peed on the concrete too.
No, I didn't let her pee on the Memorial Day Arizona, but she did sniff it.
Here's the question though: how big, how loud is that concussion when that thing fires off? And would you like to be on that crew that has to reload it every time? Like,
I think, like Dano said, they're inside of this building, right? And then they go leave or something when they shoot it. Like they're not. I don't think they can be near it.
Yeah,
Right?
but no, they still suffered ear damage. I mean, this is back in World War II. They didn't even have earplugs. Guys would put cigarette filters in their ears. Basically, it was like stick your fingers in your ears.
There was in the 1980s. They did some release. The Department of the Navy released some video footage for a general public of the USS Iowa, which was one of the last ones that was not decommissioned until later.
Yeah.
That was still in use.
It was recommissioned.
Showed them loading the powder bags and then loading the projectile itself, or the projectile and then the powder bags, and then firing off around, and then using the elevator, which is again they're below the main deck, but then there's also a compartment of guys below them that are handling all the powder bags, etc.
The main thing that should tell you that it's pretty loud is the fact that it has to be bolted down to the ground or something solid.
Well, it's literally part of the ship. That's why I said it's not. It's like it's bolted to the deck.
Yeah, well, you know what though? The whole turret, when these things sink and they turn upside down and sink, the turrets fall out because
they're not connected.
On bearings. They're not actually bolted into the ship. They're on bearings.
They can't be connected to the ship, or they'd never be able to aim. They are separate from the boat so that they can the ship, because then they can be their own gyroscopes.
Yeah,
and shit.
they're so heavy they don't move. Like when the ship goes over big waves and shit, they don't move. They're like a tenth of the way to the ship. Like the armored turrets are it's outrageous. They weigh like an armored turret from a.
Are you telling me those guns were on a gimbal?
Yeah, not necessarily, but something similar to it.
There was this one poor ass dude, suckerhead, at the bottom of the whole thing, like holding
They're
his
sitting
thing.
on bearings. Like, literally, these things are sitting on bearings.
Yeah, well, that's left, right, back, and forth. That's not up and down.
Oh, up and down, they have that too.
Yeah, they were, like Bob's saying, they were loose. That was the whole reason they could start to shoot whatever he's saying, 6 miles away or whatever the hell they shoot.
So
they
here's my idea.
60 miles away. And they shot a Volkswagen, basically, as far as weight went.
So you got to buy like a F-350 and get one of those cannons and cut it down a little bit so that you can put it in the bed, and then somehow mount it, and then you've got a mobile strike device. Intercontinental gun.
You couldn't even put one of those on a train.
You could try.
Well,
right. Well,
they did have the Paris guns, which were rail mounted.
All right. So this is.
They did not shoot as far.
All right.
And they were not the same caliber.
Like, how much does that gun weigh?
We're stopping this. This is done. I'm playing host, and we're on the Daily Gun Show, not the weird Bob. So
the weird Canadian show.
We're trying to talk about good idea, bad idea, and we haven't done this in a while, so it's not y'all's fault, but y'all suck at coming up with topics. So here's the deal. Good idea, bad idea. Good idea, bad idea is a debate. It's a conversation where basically someone chooses one side or the other, and when we have a full panel like this one, we can usually go through, and the good topic will divide the panel, and then we have something to talk about. So Dano, Bob, Gary's been watching for a while, others that have experienced a good idea, bad idea before. help me out. But a topic for good idea, bad idea isn't like how many spare mags are too many, because that requires a number, right? A good idea, bad idea is like a yes or no, right? Is that a better way to explain it? A good idea, bad idea requires like a binary opinion, not like some arbitrary number, because then we could just all agree to different arbitrary numbers and it's not a debate or anything.
So there's two parts to this show, and I'll let you explain the first part and the second part.
He was just doing that.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, the first part is where we go through the whole panel one by one. And everybody says either good idea or bad idea. Second part is then you get to say why, not during the answer.
But what we're talking, I guess I was addressing the audience out there that's asking questions like, how many times would you do this? And it's like, that's not a good idea, bad idea question. At least not, it's a good question, but not a good idea, bad idea question. So like, what was the one we started with there that got into somehow the guns from World War II? Started out with like,
how big a bore?
Yeah, big bores laws are good or bad. So there, we actually could have had almost a thing if John would have been rogue and been like, there should be some reasonable gun diameter laws, then we could actually.
No.
I know. Well, if it would have gone that way, I'm saying.
The day I go that way, please just shoot me in the head.
Okay, so 7 has an interesting one. We've talked about having gun stickers on cars before, right? Like Smith & Wesson, or like From My Cold Dead Hands, or Night Strikes in here, so we know what he would have on there. But
even NRA stickers.
7 is saying, what about Pro 2A stickers? So I'm thinking Pro 2A might be a little bit more interesting, like an Every Second Matters, or like less of a Shall Not Be Infringed or a From My Cold Dead Hands, and more of the universal background checks prohibit suicide people, or something, something that actually addresses the actual issues. If it was something like that didn't signal your car as like, there's probably guns in here that I don't keep attended or keep track of, instead it was something that in traffic somebody might go, hey, wait a minute, I never thought of that before. I don't know, do those kind of bumper stickers even exist? But so Pro 2A stickers on vehicles, and then he says yards. I don't know what he means by yards. So I guess in your yard. So left or right. Bob, good idea, bad idea?
Good idea.
Interesting. Honda?
Bad idea.
You'd have to put them on your Honda also. Gizzard?
Bad idea.
Z?
Bad idea.
Oh, look, we have a different Z now. So me and Bob and Dano all thought differently about that one. Dano?
Bad idea.
Nice try.
Bad idea.
Oh, roll call?
Good idea.
I'm going to say...
You're going to be the contrarian.
I don't know what. Did anybody count? I mean, it was definitely... Well, we had both. I wasn't counting. Was anybody else counting?
2 said good idea.
Roll call.
2 said good idea. The rest of us said bad. So however many that is.
Yeah, it was definitely pro bad idea, but I think that's wrong. So I'm just gonna say.
I definitely agree that having gun stuff on your cars is a bad idea, because I don't know. I guess I don't even agree that. I'm not in this one. I don't put stickers on my vehicles. I just don't like putting stickers on my vehicles. I think I would be behind Pro 2A. I'd honestly be behind NRA stickers too. But I think Pro 2A I'd like even more than ones. But as long as I don't have to participate, I'm saying good idea. Because I don't think you're gonna. Well, I guess let everybody else put their nuance. So who is it? Who said it was a good idea besides me?
Only you.
No, roll call said it was good too.
Oh, roll call.
I said it was a good idea.
And didn't somebody else? Said that Bob or somebody?
I said it was a good idea, but yeah, let roll call go first, and I'll chip in with my 20 minutes.
I think it's a good idea. I think it shows that you're passionate about the Second Amendment, and you better not mess with this person because they more than likely have a gun. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. And plus, some of the stickers designs are pretty cool. So why not show it off? What are we all living in a closet? Is that what we're doing? Ooh, he has a gun.
I'll let you know when it's my turn.
Ooh, he owns guns. But let's not talk about them. I think guns are talked about on a daily basis. I mean, Look at the people that ride around with NRA license plates. So, I mean, I think it's a great idea. Plus, sticker designs that people are coming up with nowadays are really cool. It could have your car stand out. So it's a fashion statement on top of it. So hell yeah, put all that shit on.
Right on. Bob?
I'm going to say yeah, because it's, you know, you also have to, you know, maybe, well, I could say, you know, match it with a sticker that says, it's not in the car, it's on my hip, motherfucker. But, to, you know, make that point. But at the same time, it's just like, you know, so what? People are going to break into your car whether you got a sticker on it or not. I mean, it doesn't happen that often. It's pretty rare. And I think the fact that you got a sticker in your car doesn't matter one way or the other. So, yeah, for me, it's just, yeah, put stickers on if you want. Don't. I don't care. But I don't think it's a problem.
I think I'm going to go with both of these guys. I'm not going to add too much other than, and I'm not a good advocate for this because I'm biased. I sell stickers and patches and shit, right? So that kind of stuff on a vehicle, has there been any actual research? Has somebody like a John Lott done something? I mean, that's definitely the what do they call it? The wives' tale or the rule of thumb or whatever the word is, like the general thought that Pete said out there, you make it on the gun channel side, you make it a target for vehicle theft. Well, I don't know about, he doesn't mean theft of your vehicle as much as like somebody breaking into your vehicle, right? And trying to root around looking for a gun. But, and I don't know. And then the other side of it is like what Roll Call's saying, if nobody puts gun stickers on their car, then they're kind of winning. And I'll just throw this out there. We all are different, right? So what if you got like that pickup that you use for like dragging stuff to the dump and like you take the boat to the lake with it, but you're not going to like, you know, all over the place with a bunch of guns necessarily, you know, going shopping and leaving a bunch of guns in the back of the truck or something, like a truck that you just use occasionally, or like the van or something that you use for vacations, or something that isn't necessarily going to be the gun you take, or the vehicle you take to the range that might have guns in it. Maybe that's an option, or if you put it on your wife's car and she doesn't even know.
Can I throw the caveat on for my answer?
Sure. Sounds like Dan will put one in there too.
Well, I just wanted to add something to what you said, is instead of having stickers that just said Second Amendment or shall not be infringed or whatever, maybe someone should come up with something a little more thoughtful and say the Second Amendment saved my life. Ask me about it. Something like that nature. So,
I love it. And that's, I think, what the point of this one was, right? Second Amendment as opposed to just like pro-gun.
Right. So if you're just going to have the standard ones, come and take it, or, you know, shall not be infringed, and I agree with those 100%. If you're just going to have those, it is going to be, like G said, it is going to be a magnet for people who's looking at the car and seeing the sticker and saying, maybe there's a gun in there. Give them more incentive to break in. But if you have a sticker that says Second Amendment saved my life, ask me about it, or something of that nature, then might be less of a deterrent, and also may get somebody to come up and talk to you. I can be hopeful.
You know what'd be cool too is I live the Second Amendment. Ask me about it.
But
because then it sounds
another one,
right? It's like a second, you know, plasm or plasm.
You done, Bob?
Like ask me about our Second Amendment or something like that.
Yeah.
Can I throw mine out there?
Only if Bob's done.
I don't know, man.
Well, Bob's never done.
Was Bob drinking?
Okay, I have two primary things with this. One is that if you happen to not live in a rural area, meaning you live in a suburban or urban area, you open yourself up that when you leave your vehicle, somebody who's not necessarily of sane mind is going to take out their frustrations on your car when they see your sticker, whether it's with a key, whether it's your antenna, or they simply knock your mirror off as far as voicing their frustrations, because we have a lot of people being emotionally triggered is a real thing now. I mean, we've all seen it.
You took all the Trump stickers off your Honda, did you?
No, I don't put any stickers on my car for that reason. So that's one is people, those sort of people won't necessarily have the kahunas to come up and say, what's this thing about guns on your car? They don't want to have a conversation. They just want to get their emotions out when you're not around and your car's available to take it out on. The other is that, let's say that, I'm somebody of ill will and I drive by your place every day and I notice, gee, your vehicle has a gun stickers on. Yeah, I think you probably have guns. But I also noticed that, gee, you kind of leave for work at 7:30 every morning, Monday through Friday, and don't come home until late in the afternoon. Now that house might be available to have some guns. So that's the second point that I really don't like about putting advertisements on cars.
That's a good point. You can alleviate that a little bit by backing in or putting it in a garage or something, so it's not like whatever. But then the second part of that was putting it in your yard, putting some kind of a sign in the yard or something. So that would definitely apply to what Dan was talking about. Right.
So I'd be much more interested in advocating by wearing a T-shirt or something like that, where it's more attached to me, the person, than this is my car or this is my house.
So A-Folk is saying plenty of stickers on cars doesn't necessarily equal theft, like stereo and Nike and things like that, or maybe the engine parts or things like that. But stereos for sure, right? That's something that you would think if you're, I don't know. So, I mean, I'm not going to disregard. I mean,
not so much anymore. They've gotten too cheap.
Well, but I'm saying awareness and thought is valid. I'm not going to suggest people recklessly just start plastering their vehicles with stickers necessarily. But that's what it's all about, is the discussion, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's no different than the people who put stickers on their car about abortion. I mean, it's an emoting issue that gets people very emotional. Where about your car stereo does not get people emotional.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Can I go now?
Let me throw one thing, because Dan will maybe think of something, or I'll put it in the notes. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything that Dano just said, with two things to add to it. And really, that's I've never read someone's bumper sticker that I disagreed with, for instance, and said to myself, that's a good point. Like, usually, like, my point of view is set, and a bumper sticker isn't going to change my mind. I like stickers. I put them on my safe. I've got a motorcycle. I put them on my tank, but that's parked in a garage, so that's a little different. But it also makes you a target for police, right? Like, if you have a gun sticker on your license plate, or by your license plate or whatever, when they pull you over, they don't necessarily know that you're a good guy, but they might know you have a gun now. And how are they going to treat you? Is it a rookie? Is he going to have a rookie mistake because he's nervous because it's his first time pulling someone over who he knows has a gun? You might be a perp. I don't know. Like, that's a scary thought potentially. And I think it also makes your car the target if you're not around. Like, that was going to be my main point, really, is like, even if it's for vandalism, because some single mother is walking by and sees your pro-gun sticker and decides to key the side of your car. She's not going to break into your car and steal anything, but you're going to find a scratch, and you're not going to know why.
Number one keyer of vehicles is single moms and parking lots.
I mean, not necessarily, but
no, I know exactly what you're saying. No, I hear you.
I hear you, but at the same time, it's like, well, I'm not going to live my life with that kind of paranoia. I mean, it's the same, like, it's Dano's paranoia. People are going to follow me home because they see a gun sticker on my car, and they're going to think, oh, he's got guns. I'm going to follow him home and rob his guns. I mean,
have you ever been robbed?
Oh, yeah, I've had stuff stolen, but I've never been robbed at gunpoint. Yeah.
Being robbed, well, I mean, not robbed at gunpoint, but someone, like, break into your front door with a crowbar and you come back home and half your shit's missing. That's robbed.
No, I mean, I've had, like, come home and, like, barbecue and shit like that. Tools are missing.
People broke into your house to have a barbecue?
No, they broke into my garage and stole the barbecue and tools and shit like that. But it's just like, shit happens, right?
That's stuff you had on your patio, like, that's not the same thing as.
Bob's got a point. I mean, let's say they break into your vehicle, unless you're keeping a stack of guns in there all the time. Then they break in, they root around, and you got a broken window, but you've still had satisfaction of having a vehicle you're satisfied with, and you've been making a statement you wanted to make for however long you've been on the road. He's just, I think, looking at the weighing the positives and negatives of the potentials differently, right?
When do we have a laissez-faire attitude about being victimized, though? I don't get that.
Well, it's not a laissez-faire. You guys are suggesting that we are going to get burglarized by promoting the Second Amendment on our vehicles. And while that's a concern and it's valid, Bob, I think, and I think the others of us that were pro are saying that, is it worth not advocating? And I guess I'm going to throw out there what I put in there about awareness. My point was that the same way that you guys are concerned about that bumper sticker on a vehicle in a parking lot being a target for abuse, every time someone walks through a parking lot and they see some more pro 2A stuff on there, isn't that adding to the societal awareness of firearms? And it's different if it's a NRA sticker, and it's different if it's asking about the Second Amendment, or how the Second Amendment saved my life, or something that's useful and effective. I'm going to add to that the concept that Pete brought up. What if you have other things on your vehicle? So like a lot of people that do put a lot of stickers on there. What if you have other pro, or you had stickers that were pro other good things, and then 2A stuff in there? So now someone says, well, I'm pro animal adoption, and I'm pro this and that other local organization. This person seems like they're on my wavelength. Wait, they're also pro 2A? That doesn't make sense. Like, and is there something, is that valid? Is it worth, I mean, the reason you put a bumper sticker on there is to show your affiliation, or to try to make people aware, right? Isn't that way into the decision?
Well, I'll tell you.
Based off of a bumper sticker.
Again, you're not trying to, no one I think is suggesting, Yankee, that someone's going to walk out of a store and just bought their milk or whatever, and they see your bumper sticker out of the corner of their eye, and they're like, damn it, I'm pro 2A. I'm super pro 2A now. I used to be anti 2A when I bought this milk, but now I'm pro 2A because of this bumper sticker. No one's suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is when someone, like a politician or somebody, is going to suggest 90% of gun owners hate guns. Well, isn't that perception harder to play on the country if every once in a while they see a vehicle that looks normal? Like, hey, like I say, there's somebody who's pro animal adoption, there's somebody that's pro all these other organizations in town, and they're pro 2A. That doesn't make sense. It's adding to the whole dynamic.
But whether it's a hat or a T-shirt, there are other ways to get that message across that don't necessarily raise the likelihood. You're right, it's not an absolute thing. It's not like you put a sticker on the car and you're absolutely going to be a victim. You're absolutely right. But it does raise the likelihood that you will be. But wearing a T-shirt or a hat or something like that can get the message out there that you are supported. That, gee, here's a guy pushing his daughter in a stroller, taking her down to the park. Isn't that nice? Oh, what's that? He has a hat. His hat says, Gun Owners of America. Gee, I guess good dads can be gun owners too.
And maybe the guy decides, I hate guns, and runs up behind the dad and punches him in the back of the head. I mean, what are the odds of that? The same odds that somebody's going to walk by and see an NRA. Most of the time, 99.99% of the time, nobody's even going to see the sticker. And so your whole premise is...
Well, that's what I said, and I was told don't do a Yankee.
Plus, you're not even considering the fact that just because they see the sticker, how many of the percent of that 99 percentage are actually going to care about the sticker? They're just going to say, "Oh, it's an NRA sticker," and move on.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have the right person at the right time, at the right circumstances, then have the opportunity, and then your car is the one that they find and all that. That's a lot of ifs. But let's move on. I think that's what the whole idea, good idea, bad idea is. Sometimes it's obvious which one's which. But that was a good one. It kept the conversation going there for a while. Did anybody see the others? I mean, we've had a conversation going on this one. I know there was a couple of others that came up. EDC bag. This one's from TDR on the YouTube side. EDC bag to carry a gun. So I'm guessing he's saying...
If you're a girl and you want to carry a purse, that's fine. But if you're a dude,
I guess Bob was first, so no. Honda? No answer. Answer. Honda. He's not answering.
Oh, he said, "Be right back."
Oh, okay. So then Gary?
Bad idea.
Z. Island Z. Oh, wait. John Z.
Good idea.
Yeah. Dano?
Good idea.
Oh, shit. Night Strike?
Now, is this carrying it in a bag on you, or is it keep putting it on your belt?
Good idea, bad idea. EDC bag to carry a gun.
EDC bag to carry a gun. No, bad idea.
Roll call?
Bad idea.
And I'm obviously going to say bad idea. So we had a couple of goods out there, and then is Honda back yet? All right, so we have a couple of goods out there. Who are the goods?
I'm one of them.
I said good.
So you can justify your wrongness or
Sure. I think it's a good idea if that's the only way, depending on the way you're dressed, etc., that you can carry. Because a gun.
What's all these like?
Bob, it's not your turn. Bob, sit down in your chair. Your turn's coming. Okay. It's a slow draw. It's inconvenient. It has all sorts of negative. But a gun on you beats the gun that's at home every time.
So is that a yes or a no, though, Dan? You voted. You voted. It. Good idea.
Everyone said yes.
Let the man finish, Bob.
Now what happened? Now we got dead air.
So better a gun on you, regardless of how you carry, which is why I think it's a good idea. It's like the last option versus just leaving it at home. So
your caveat is better with you than without.
Yes.
What are you thinking? What's so good about a carry purse? Or I mean, a carry EDC bag.
I agree. It's the gun you have with you is better than the one you don't. If you're not comfortable wearing it on you, at least have it in a fanny pack, have it in a holster in your pocket. I mean, again, if you're able to, for those that are lucky enough that live in free states, the one you have on you is better than none.
Now, all that being said, I'm still voting bad idea, but you guys have valid points. I mean, if you can't carry on your body, then having a gun that you have nearby or available to you that you can keep aware of, then obviously that's better than not. So, might not be ideal. Unknown user, Glocks, good idea, bad idea. Bob?
Glocks? Oh,
yeah.
bad idea. Yeah.
Honda, is he back yet? Gizzard?
Good idea.
John?
Good idea.
Dano?
Good idea.
Night Strike.
Bad idea.
Roll call.
Sorry,
Glocks.
Glocks?
Uh-huh.
Good idea.
Yep, good idea. So we got Bob and Night Strike. Good old Bob and Night Strike teaming up against Glocks. Now we're going to have to listen to this.
You know, all I'm going to say is 1911s.
You ought to be running urine down your leg just saying that word.
High powers, high powers, high powers. Don't need no Glocks.
Yeah.
What's the number one trait for a Glock?
It's plastic.
Short of the way it looks. What's the number
Break,
one attribute?
drop it at
Glock
minus
is known
50.
for?
It's
The
plastic.
grip.
Reliability.
Perfection.
Inability to hit a target.
And since that's what it's known for, that's why it's a good idea. Any gun that has that as its primary attribute, highly reliable, is a good gun.
Amen.
So you're saying the 1911 isn't a reliable gun, even though it's been around for over 100 years?
Well, I know someone quite well that actually cut the shit out of their hand on one.
No. That has nothing to do with the question. That has nothing to do with the question. You're just obfuscating the question.
Apparently, it's a dangerous gun, this 1911 thing of which you speak.
They're afraid that Night Strike is correct, because it saved us from both World War One and World War II. So yes, it's obviously ultimately.
It saved some of us. It didn't save Night Strike.
And Korea.
Ultimately, exactly, good point. And Vietnam, I'm not even fooling. So it's ultimately reliable. It's just that
It attacked Night Strike.
I'm not changing my vote. I can acknowledge the 1911 for what it is, but it doesn't change my vote that I'm going to carry a Glock, not a 1911.
Well, you know, if you want to carry a 9mm because the first Glocks were 9mm, then be my guest. I'm going to carry a 45.
Oh snap!
Oh, there are Glocks in
They
45.
make Glocks in 45, yeah.
It's not about. This is not a caliber question. This is a platform question. Glocks come in all sorts of calibers.
All right, so Adam in the gun channels are
Really
the
proper handguns out of Browning high power, so I don't know what you guys are even talking about.
Adam on the YouTube side adds or posts this out there. Reliability is a bit of a moot point with many modern firearms. So I'm thinking he's saying because there's so many reliable guns now that Glocks don't stand out, and therefore they shouldn't get, I don't know, whatever fondness for that, or
they shouldn't get preferential treatment.
Well, even if they aren't the most reliable, they are definitely among the most reliable, which is really all you need. You don't need to nitpick about which one's on top of the mountain, but they're definitely in the discussion.
Yeah, well, I'd much rather have a gun that's not made of Tupperware, thank you.
Well, then
they're among the most popular.
Don't because they weren't the first polymer gun, and they're not the only polymer gun. So don't
might be the most popular cars, but they're crap.
So hold on, Bob. So since you're talking about the polymer side of it, how many years does the polymer, frame have to exist before you acknowledge it as a platform that can be useful for some tools? Same as like a fiberglass axe handle or something, right? Or
give it 1,000 years, and in 1,000 years, I'll give it some.
How about an axe handle? You know what I'm talking about, like our shovel handle. But if we're working on in the ground and you might have an issue with electric wires or something, they have fiberglass handles, and that eliminates the potential of getting a shock if you accidentally hit a wire or whatever. That was a transition from old materials to new.
Wood did the same thing, though.
Yeah, but how many guns do you see are made out of fiberglass?
I'm just using that as an example that he'll acknowledge that tool technology is okay to develop in other things, but in guns, it's somehow we got to stay reverent to wood and metal all the time.
I honest to God, I use shovels a lot. I much prefer a wooden shovel handle. It absorbs shock better. The plastic ones, it's the same with a snow shovel. A snow shovel with a plastic blade, yeah, it's lighter, it's cheaper, and everything else. They wear out and they're crap.
So how did you make the transition to be able to use the modern cell phone with having a radio receiver transmitter right next to your head and not be concerned about the transmissions and the effects it has on your brain?
That's why I don't use I use a speakerphone on my phone.
Okay, but you're still only transmitting from 2 feet away.
Yeah, well, it's a lot better than transmitting through your brain.
Okay.
And off the rails.
Not me. Dano started that.
It was about the acceptance of technology, because back in 1,000.
What happened there was Bob was weaving all over the place, and Dano yanked the wheel, and it went off the road. Whose fault was it? We don't know, but they were both involved.
They were both drunk.
Yeah, iron. We don't like this iron thing. It's too new.
Exactly. I like my guns brass.
Hey, G-Webs. Hey, G-Webs. On the gun channel side, DT Pfeiffer is implying that you need to make 30-second sound bites of Dano and Bob.
That's a good idea. In 1,000 years, metal will be rusted, the wood will be rotten, the plastic will still have not biodegraded. I don't know about that.
No, but it might have been cracked.
If that's the case, well, it will, though, because you can kill plastics that are used in guns at 275 degrees or something. So all you got to do is cook them or bake them, and they can get irritated. The sun can kill them after their UV protection dies. But if that was true, then we'd still have polymer frames and no slides, right? Because the slides are still metal.
No, well, you'd have the slides, but I mean, they wouldn't be. The plastic just disintegrates. In UV, plastic disintegrates. You've ever seen a plastic tarp? Give it a year and it's gone. You get an old canvas tarp, it can sit in the sun for years and still be waterproof and everything else.
You do realize canvas rots.
Yeah, canvas isn't perfect or nothing.
Yeah.
Either.
No, it's not, but it lasts a lot longer than one of these poly plastic tarps does. And that's the same thing I'm saying about the guns, right? The old technology still works, and the new stuff, yeah. But you know, it's like with anything new, the first stuff they make is crap. And so maybe the Glocks they're making now, they might last 20 or 30 years, but they're not going to be like a 1911 that you can find, you know, in a desert somewhere that the frame could still be restored and put back into service. I mean, it's just, you can't do that with plastic.
No, it won't happen. I don't even think it'll take that long. I mean, in other words, I don't even think they need to sit in the sun. I think it'll just be 20 years worth of sitting in a safe, and the cleaners and stuff will have taken their toll on it. All it takes is to break a little component here by a pin or by a blow bearing area, and it's dead.
One of the 4 frame tabs starts to come loose, and your slide's not going to operate correctly.
Exactly. So they're not perfect or nothing, but for the doing the job, they're definitely the best thing on that.
Well, for the price, it's like, you know, if you just want something that's going to work for a couple of years, sure. If you want something you're going to hand down to generations, then yeah, you want something made out of steel. Yeah, makes sense.
All right. So with that said, everybody knows what a polymer Glock is, or I mean the poly 80s are. So the poly 80s for CCW. So we're adding that caveat.
Ooh.
Polymer 80s for CCW. Bob, good idea, bad idea?
I'll just say bad idea, even though I'm not sure what we're talking about.
That's the
polymer 80 Glocks,
80,
the lowers.
You buy the frame that's 80%, you drill the final holes.
Oh, okay, 80% lowers for Glocks. Oh, yeah, I'm going to say good idea. I like it.
Honda?
That's so contrary.
It's just gone. Gizzard?
Bad idea.
John?
Good idea.
Piano?
Bad idea.
Night Strike?
There's a problem. I'm conflicted on this one because they're a good idea to have and keep, but they're a bad idea to carry.
And that's the question.
So, I'm gonna have to say bad idea to carry.
Roll call?
Yeah, I'm going to have to say bad idea.
Obviously bad idea. John and Bob can justify their incorrectness.
Bob, you can go first.
Yeah, it's ironically the 2 guys that don't carry.
All right, I'm going to say I actually probably missed the carry part, but I'm going to say if you do it properly and it functions properly, why not?
Well, we all have the same why not, right?
Well, no, we've seen people, you know, do these builds, and as far as I'm concerned, if you get proper functioning after, you know, 100 rounds or so, what the hell? You know, roll the dice.
So you're okay with the polymer 80, not a Glock.
Well, that needs to be a Bob patch. Roll the dice.
Yeah.
So you need to have Bob's avatar there and have some dice there.
Okay, so Bob and I said yes. So Bob gave his roundabout answer. I'll go. All right. So the reason I say yes is because they're inexpensive. It would give somebody the firearms a chance to not only practice carrying a firearm, and it doesn't have to be even loaded. They can carry the firearm, but not only do they have a chance to carry a firearm, they have a chance to work on a firearm and get a better idea of the parts, how they function, how they work, what they're called. It gives a new person the chance to practice these things.
I agree with all of it. It's the for CCW part, though.
Right. So you carry it. So the person, after they've gotten comfortable enough to work on the firearm and drill the holes and learn all the parts and the pins and all that, they carry the firearm, but they carry it just to the range to start, just to get the feel for everything. I mean, it's a good project, I believe, to start with.
But that was not
for
the
someone
question.
new.
Right. We're not saying is the Glock 80 project a good idea. We're saying is it a good idea to carry CCW?
Well, to start out with, why not?
Okay. So who wants to take the correct side of this one?
I'll give it a tip and then I'll pass it along. I'm going to start with, you don't want to give the prosecutor any possible inside leads in a defense shooting as to why you did what you did. Oh, how interested in guns are you? Do you have a fascination with guns? Why are you fascinated with guns? And give them, you're literally giving all sorts of openings to the prosecution to make you look like not a good guy.
Yeah, unless you're a professional manufacturer of firearms, it doesn't matter if the gun does operate flawlessly. Going into court and giving the attorney, the opposite attorney, the opposing attorney an angle, you might as well walk in with like a brass knuckles duct tape to a log or something. Like they're going to take that apart. Like, where do you get off making your own gun? Like, well, oh man, I can't even imagine.
Plus, there's also you're not even factoring in the point that it doesn't have a serial number on it, and they'll use that as a field day too.
Oh yeah, I'll take that one out to the.
What are you trying to hide from the government, mister?
Yeah, you don't have a serial number on this gun. What are you trying to hide from the government? Who do you think you are?
Comrade.
We are definitely being pessimistic, but I think we're being realistic.
But that's how it goes. That's how we've heard it in so many court cases in the past. It's always been stuff like this.
Well, I don't know if this particular one has come up very often.
Well, not very often, but
we assume
you hear this kind of stuff.
We're assuming. Did you want to say something?
I do want to just address the learning aspect. Is buying a broken gun and taking it home and fiddling around with it, you'll learn far more and spend far less.
Well, you'll spend less, but I think John had a good point as far as learning a gun. I mean, it's like putting together an AR, except a little bit more, because you do have to drill the holes and you get to learn a little bit more about the actual gun and material.
Yeah, but there's nothing assured that it's going to be a functional gun just because you're learning about it. You may learn about it, but you may not end up with a functional gun.
Hence the reason I said when you first start carrying it, only start carrying it when you go to the range.
And again, but you're carrying it. So what about the moment you leave your property until the moment you get to the range? You are subject to the
Okay, Nancy. Okay, Nancy. Relax.
It's attorney Nancy that you got to worry about.
That's
well,
true.
No, it's district attorney Nancy.
You can go with an ad hominem attack. That's fine.
I don't like your pants.
I don't like that sticker on your car that says NRA.
I don't like your attitude, mister.
Okay.
All right, next up, mail order Russian brides. Good idea, bad idea? Bob.
Oh, great idea.
Honda, is he back yet? He's just cashing in the paychecks. Gizzard?
Any kind of bride's a bad idea, let alone one you got to order out of the damn catalog.
John?
There's some countries that are a good idea. Russian women are super tough, so I would say bad idea.
Dano?
No way in hell.
Night Strike.
Bad idea. Never order a Russian bride out of a catalog.
Roll call.
I refrain from this because if my old lady watches this, then I'm gonna be.
Wait a minute. Is she a mail order bride? Wait, we're
See right?
That's something you never told me, roll call. We might have to have a discussion after this.
It's a whole new Tuesday.
That's why you should just say right away, bad idea.
Bad idea.
Be wrong, got to find one for love.
I'm going to say also bad idea, but I'm looking for a Russian sugar mama. So any Russian sugar mamas can contact us at dailygunshow@gmail.com.
Yeah. But problem is she's looking for a sugar daddy.
No. Sugar mamas want to just pay for what their boy toys do or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
She's just like you. She wants sugar, but she don't have none to give.
No, you don't understand. I'm not there. That's the equivalent of what the dude in that relationship you're thinking of would be. I'm looking for the female equivalent, a rich Russian lady who
Right.
is old and has a lot of money and doesn't expect much from me except throw money at me.
Well, you have to make sure the sugar mama has been divorced at least 3 times.
As long as she's got a lot of Russian money. In any case,
Exactly.
Even if she has a lot of money, she wants more. I guarantee it.
She's used to getting divorced.
You don't
Never
Dano doesn't
enough
understand.
money.
You don't
Yeah,
understand.
or Downer Debbie.
N-E-M.
Dano.
He's trying to crap on my sugar mama. Come on.
I know, right?
Right?
Never enough money.
And we have to help G-Webs defend her honor.
Well, I've been searching for more questions, and I think we might have run out. Either people are sick of hearing us, or they're so busy thumbing it up. We are at a positive thumb ratio, 27 thumbs up, no thumbs down, only 23 people watching. So that means people came over here just to thumb it up, and then went back to their busy lives out there. So pretty cool. We have any other questions the last minute? No. So what else we got coming up this week? This is Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday. Budget has a show tomorrow? Or his is Friday?
Friday.
No, I think
Friday. So Sarge has his show tomorrow instead of Saturday?
I think so, yes.
I think that's how they alternated it. And then Matt has some kind of show, and then Yankee has some kind of show, and then Clover has some kind of show. Somebody else with a show.
That's it.
In essence, there'll be several shows over the next following days. So.
Oh no, that's just tomorrow. That's all just tomorrow. And then of course we'll be back here for the Daily Gun Show on Thursdays. We talk about
Daily Lobby.
Yep, that's true. Every morning, Knives out of California usually sets up a lobby over on Gun Channel. So anybody that wants to check it out. Also should mention the login and sign up and everything is working again over there. So check that out. Thanks for your patience with the issues we've been having there. Some of these things can be difficult to narrow down, and then once you do, it's just sometimes difficult to get through all the codes and shit underneath of these things. So
He's back.
What the heck was that?
Honda.
got the patch batch going over on Indiegogo. So that is an effort to here, and we can take a quick look at that. So we've got a concept that I started out with last year, doing a bunch of patches at once, and that saved a bit of money on shipping. So I figured let's try that again, except get some people together who haven't worked together before. So we have Every Second Matters. We're running low on patches over there, so we're going to have some of those made. 2A for Everyone is Tony Simon out of New Jersey. He has Boots on the Ground organization where he does workshops and brings people together for diversity shoots twice a month, and he spreads out to other states as well. He's been doing that for a couple of years now. This will be his first patch. Gunstreamer is a pro gun hosting platform out of Salt Lake City. We've met with those the people that run that place. It's going on their second year, and they're a valid hosting platform. This will be their second run of patches, and it'll look something similar to this, but we haven't determined their patch design yet. Ghost Tactical more than likely will look like his logo. He's out of Arkansas, and he's been kicking it with intent for quite a while now, kicking out videos, doing projects with the focus on 2A and bringing new people in to be involved in shooting, not just be involved in the firearms, but going out to the range, and he encourages people to turn on their cameras. We got Gear Report, which is a website that encourages people to write. So it's blogs and photographs and videos to supplement, but it's an archive of an accumulating library of gear reviews. And they're not just your typical, go buy this because I'm paid to sell it to you, but instead it's a bunch of individuals who are experiencing their gear and relaying that to people. And the people that run that organization keep it at a level so that it's interesting and useful. And they have plenty of writers. They have something like 30-something writers over there. So you can find people that you're interested in and get different opinions on their gear and the different ways that they use it. We got GunTube, Nightstrike's project, to provide a video hosting platform that instead of just doing what YouTube used to do, looks forward at what we as individuals who create live content or create content and enjoy these live conversations. Nightstrike's platform are completely 100% forward looking at what the internet needs, not what people used to do, trying to rebuild old garbage. Instead, it's looking forward at what we can do and what we'd be more effective, what tools we'd be more effective with. Right now, he only gets $50-something a month on Patreon. So obviously, the patches would be useful for him as a fundraiser. And then whereas an awareness thing, because he doesn't have the resources some of the other platforms that are out there do. We got CloverTac kicking it with both content and support for other projects. He's helping people out, bringing a lot of resource to and a lot of positive energy to the community. His patch will be determined when you get it. You'll not see it until you get it, so that there's a little bit of surprise to the project. We got the Pew Pew Jew. There's a guy who's wrote some books and is involved with 2A Media. He was at the AmCon a couple of times, and when or at both of the AmCons, the 2A Media Summits that happened at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and he was the only other person that after last year was upset that we didn't know each other when we walked into that room. So he encouraged the organizers to have the attendees meet each other throughout the year. So of course he was the only other one that had that same opinion, and I wanted to encourage him to join the project as well. Again, one of the concepts here is not just to get patches into everyone's hands, but it's to get an opportunity for all of us to work together. Not just when we all have time, like somewhere in the future, but instead right now on top of all the other things we're working on. And it's an effort. Nobody asked me to do this. I just threw it on everybody. They obliged. And nobody asked to spend $50. We're pushing that on all the people that are participating as well. But unfortunately, nobody asked to put Second Amendment infringements on us either. And if we can't get used to just coming up and rising to the occasion, then we're never going to get used to resisting tyranny. Anyway, so we got Never Enough Ammo's first patch coming out. It'll look similar to this, but better. We've got the 2A Fund, which is Artisan Tony, another 2A advocate who's been kicking it for years. And his new project is an alternative funding platform for 2A projects, where each month he takes $100 plus whatever accumulated funds show up from the people that participate with him. And he gives that to a different worthy 2A organization. It's just another way to fund projects that are valid. We got Yankee's first patch with us. All of his other patches are done with some asshole who hates everybody and is a dick. And this will be his first patch with people who don't hate you. And then we got Florida Carry, a pro-gun organization out of Florida. It's working for open carry in a state that's like very pro-gun. They got horrible open carry laws where it was organized, but you know, they're lawyers. They've been on Every Second Matters for a long time, members of gun channels, active in our community, active at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. They've encouraged other states to organize at the state level. Very active, but this will be their first PVC patch. Again, this is a state level organization. This is a project with Tony that literally has been boots on the ground for years. We've got video hosting platforms. We've got content creators that share their energy and their skills with everybody. We've got platforms that use writing and authors. We've got Matt and Yankee. And we've got you, I hope, because we need to get $10,000 for this to happen. So we're at $2,400. And if you ain't got the money to throw into it, we certainly need you to click on this little share button to take that URL and stick it around the internet so that you never know who's going to see it. I guess you can share it on Facebook, even though they hate guns, and on Twitter, and let people know about the project. If we can make this happen, then we can turn this into something that we do on a regular basis, bring more people to the community and share their skills and their resources. So I know I'm preaching to the choir at this one, but we only get better at saying this stuff once we practice it. So thanks for the time. Let me do that. And I guess I'll throw the link out here since I just copied it. With that, thanks everybody for showing up and being part of the panel tonight. We went for about an hour and a half. And thanks, Bob, for being back. It's good to see you're still kicking and above ground. Somebody said that Bob has been robbed before. He got divorced, and you don't even know. So thanks for jumping in, Bob. He's muted. I don't know if he's back. Hun, it sounds like you're back. Thanks for jumping in. Gary, got foul territory on Friday. John Z, thanks for jumping in, being part of the show.
Thank you for the invite.
Daniel, thanks for being one of the original Gun Channels people and continuing your active participation in the community. Yep. Nightstrike, GunTube, kick-ass place. If y'all aren't there, you're missing it. Roll call. Thanks for your support, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.